People are amazed with money, Donnie. Money is so famous now. Money. Money. $1 million to win, Logan Schuchart. You know, Davenport, Superman in the late models, $1 million to win. All of you out at Houston, it's $250,000 to win. Money. When and what is going on? I love it. I think it's awesome, but I want to hear your opinion. What's going on in the sport? It's everywhere now. Everything's 50,000 to win, and I mean over the last 2 years. What made this change? Where's all the money coming from now?
It's competition. It's competitions among different series. You know, you got the All-Stars are out there. You got the World of Outlaws. You got Kyle Larson and Brad's new high limits things. It's one has to keep up with the other. I mean, it's just like you look at late model racing. They have two premier series that race against each other. So they have all these high dollar paydays quite often. It's one trying to outdo the other. It's one trying to compete against the other. It's just like what we do every day, day in and out, compete against another person. So I think it's great to see. I'm not sure that we'll see $1 million to win show again, but I look at that and just, I mean, believe you me, I'd never throw a rock at doing it, but it's like, man, if that was my racetrack, I think I'd be nervous as all get out. Because if you look at the money that was paid out last week, there was over $2 million paid out at Eldora last week, and that's absolutely insane. I'm sure it takes all his big shows to be able to do that 1 week. So it really is Tony's kind side saying, I want to give back to dirt racing for giving to me, for supporting me and his fans and all that stuff. But the paydays that are out there are they're getting up there and they're incredible. But I kind of look at it like this, Kenny. When I was looking the other night, we did an autograph session up at the barn. Someone said, someone's going to win $1 million. I said, look down there in that infield. Look down there. Guy goes, yeah? What about it? I said, there's over $150 million worth of equipment sitting in there. So is racing for $1 million really look that grand? No.
It becomes
and that's
relative,
just
right?
That's the business side of it. That look at the money that it takes to be able to do that. So when the monies get up there, it's warranted. I mean, you know how much everything costs. Everything's gone through the roof with everything over and over and over. So it's warranted, but then there's only one guy that gets it. And you know, I guess we didn't get in on the million, but that's just the way it works. That's the way racing is. You don't cry over spilt milk. I feel pretty good right now that we were able to leave Eldora with the second largest payday of the weekend and of the year. So that's a pretty decent thing. So we'll make the best of it, and hopefully that money stays there. But I think a lot of it's driven from competition. You got series competing against each other, and there's nothing wrong with competition. That's what they want us to do on the racetrack every day, is compete and put on the best show. Well, if that's what puts on the best show on the racetrack, then off the racetrack having competition is good too.
Yeah, I like everything you said there. What caught my ear, what you said is don't look at more $1 million to win shows. Do you think that was rare? Do you think we'll see more $1 million to win shows next year?
I don't think we will. I think it'll be several years before we do, but I could be wrong. Tony and I don't speak about those things when we're together. Our time is limited, and lately I've been getting up to speed on what drag racing is all about. So, I think because they had a late model race at $1 million, I think it was only justified they did a sprint car race, so you don't have that politically correct, not politically correct scenario. And but I don't think we'll have one next year. If we do, well, kudos to him for figuring out a way to do it. But I don't think it'll be for several years again.
Okay, this is like a movie. Let's go back to the start. So when you won the King's Royal, you said in your interview after the race that, you know, it's been a tough year on me. We haven't been running the way I want to. You said we went upstairs. I don't know if that means in your truck or trailer. Trailer. And you went after an old school setup, and you went through the holes, you went through the mud, and you shot straight the whole way through the corners. You weren't out of control. You have great driving ability. What did you mean by that when you went back old school?
Well, through the development of the Ford Motor Program, you make changes as you go as to what evolves. And from when it started, which was really good, we've just made some changes and had some direction that obviously we didn't go the right way. And I haven't been able to get anything to accelerate for the last couple months. And in the summer heat, it's gotten worse. And so we've had a car and a motor upstairs in the trailer that we've hauled around the last 3 years. It's some of the older stuff that was more original that just for a spare car. If we tear a car up one night, we pull it down and run it, we put it back up there and build a new one after that. And after running through 3 or 4 motors the first 3 nights, Scuba said, you know what, man, I'm out of options here. I don't know what to do. I guess we pull the upstairs car down and see if the old one runs. And I think the engine builder actually told him, he's like, you guys won't even make the show with that thing. Well, you've seen what happens. So it's just the direction that we went. It's hard to run 85 nights a year, Kenny, in different tracks and sizes and airs and all these things, and then feel like you got to be an engineer on too, and make the decision as to what we're going to do direction wise. And so we just kind of went back to old school where it all started. And obviously we've since won that race, kind of revisited that direction as to what we're going to do going forward. So I'm just glad we were able to do that and have something happen. And because that thing it ran really good, and
And
the
have
car
the
worked really
nerve to
good.
do that.
Yeah, but at that point, Kenny, we ran 7th the first 2 nights there. We ran 16th the third night, but that wasn't anything to do with other than us just trying something completely silly that went the wrong way. So after that, and that's what you do. I called it a Hail Mary, and that's basically what it was. And so the Hail Mary won us the King's Royal, but it's also given us a new direction as to what we need to do to try to get ourselves more competitive and more consistent day in, day out.
So I'm going to say something, and maybe I'm wrong. Let's say I'm wrong, but I'm going to say it, and then you respond to it. In the World of Outlaws, with the wings, you need massive amount of torque. In a heat race, it's wet. You qualify, you line up, you drop the green flag, and whatever you're going to get most likely is going to be through turns 1 and 2 at the start of the race. And then after that, you follow the leader. And then you got to wait for the A main, for everything to dry out to start passing. You're telling me that you went back upstairs, got this motor. So out of everything I just said there, can you shed light on, am I wrong or what's up?
No, we just took out the whole car. It was the spare
the
car.
whole damn car.
We just took the whole car out. It was a brand new car. Don't get me wrong. But that was our spare car. It was a brand new car, and it had that older motor in it. And I thought it was 2 years old, but it was really 3 years is what the configuration was. It
Breaking news.
Something back from, when Andy still did the motors. So
did it have more torque?
I don't know what the torque numbers were, Kenny. All I can tell you is what I feel on my foot when I move the pedal both directions. And I think what caught us off was we were trying to work on, Fords have a ton of power, a lot of power. And we were trying to corral some of that at the end of the straightaway where we were having trouble, and we lost focus on, we still got to get there. They always had a little problem getting going, and we needed to work on that too, as well as try to get them under control. So we just obviously made changes to not the right direction, and we pulled that motor out, and it was kind of a reset for everybody to be able to say, hey, obviously in these conditions at that racetrack, the way the summer air is, that's what we need to do. And believe me, there's a lot of things different about that, but that's just live and learn. When you're part of a program like that, that's part of the give and take. And believe me, there's been a lot of give, and it feels like not enough take some days, but hey, it is what it is. We snuck away from Knoxville with a win last year. We got a King's Royal win. Hopefully we can take something from both of those and try to put together what we need to be more consistent so we can get back to racing for a championship every night.
I went through this exact situation with my Toyota motors. I was with them for 7 years. I had so much power, but I could never feel it exiting. It was all at the start finish line, blew my tires off. I'm like, get me back there to the middle of the corner. I don't care about that high number.
Sprint car racing. We got to get going.
Yeah, give me some torque. So we got that done. Let me ask a fun question here. What is it like We don't see very many sports where when you win the King's Royal, they put that cape on you, they put that hat on you. What's it feel like when they do that?
You know, Kenny, the first time I did it, you'd watched it happen. So when it happens to you, you're pretty in awe. You're like, man, I got all these people watching. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. It make you feel a little silly putting a crown on, but everyone wants to stand there and do that. I was just in awe. I've won that race before, but standing there, being able to do it, it's just like, man, I just in awe because our performance, I didn't feel like leading up to that was warranted for being able to sit on that throne and wear that cape and take that crown and be able to win that race. But all it takes is a hard reset like that to get in that position. So it really kind of messes with your emotions as to the night before I was 16th, racing for 16th, and tonight I just won the King's Royal. That's what's in the back of your mind. It's not instantly celebrating, go hog wild, and then you're sitting there I was thinking, man, what do we got to do to make sure we're get that thing for Wednesday and Friday and Saturday? Obviously that, you're thinking about what it takes to what got you there and make sure we can incorporate that because, you only get a couple minutes after the race is over really to think about
All of this
what
right
your car
away.
was doing or this or that. And then it's time to celebrate and do all the formalities. And sometimes it's hard to struggle those emotions. It's not like your phone. You can pull your phone out and start taking notes as to what you're thinking right then and there. You got to keep them in your mind. And I've been hit a few too many times to keep all that stuff in my mind. So, it was pretty surreal, really. It's pretty awesome to be in that position.
Well, that's warranted because you see Logan Schuchart, who won the $1 million. He missed the race. He did not qualify. Track conditions. Brad Sweet missed the race. Brad Sweet said, I don't remember the last time I missed an A main. So I understand why you would think that way. It's very humbling. But Donnie, you're still the man. You're 45 years young, not old. You've reminded everybody, you get what you need. And we know, like you said, the sport's very competitive. It's not like we go winning. That's not what we call it. So you're still the man. With that being said, we know that Knoxville is the number one most prideful race for you all. And then we know Eldora is second. I'm still confused on what is third. I don't know. In your opinion, what is the third event that you all consider the one?
I think it used to be the Lernerville Silver Cup. It used to have when I started racing. Yeah, Lernerville used to be. We don't even go there anymore with the World of Outlaws. So that's kind of went by the wayside. But it's hard to say. The National Open at Williams Grove is a really big payday, and it has a lot of history. And man, that place is tough to win at. So it's probably the National Open right now, and they've done a great job of making it a bigger marquee event with a decent payday. And I've been fortunate to win that a few times. So and then there's Gold Cup at Chico. There's so many. Yeah, Chico's got the Gold Cup back. Brad promotes that, and they run
legendary place.
Yeah, it is. It's one of my. It's not my favorite because I've been on fire there, and it just seems like you go there, I just can't get out of my own way. It's like can't get out of sight on a dark night some days, but that's just the way it goes at certain places. But we have been able to win the Gold Cup a couple times, so that was pretty neat. But we're building these new events. Will the Million be again? I don't know. I think if it comes back, it can only build on what it had, but it's hard to say. We keep building events all the time, and that competition is what's doing that. So I just hope that regardless what happens, they just continue to have that competition.
Donnie, we're at the end now, my friend, and I like to end with something nice. So when we do these, we hope the young kids watch these, and we hope that they learn a little bit. So this is going to catch you off guard. But Greg Dethridge is a dear friend of mine. My brother, Rusty Wallace, used to race his father down there at Pocola, Oklahoma. And I was a kid. We raced there every Saturday night. I'm from Missouri. So it was Springfield, Missouri on Friday nights, Fort Smith, Arkansas, Saturday nights. But the story is this, and I got a new thing. It's called The Story in the Garage Area. Okay, so here's the story in the garage area right now. I'm not going to say his name because I don't know if he wants me to, but I'm over at Tri-City Speedway in Granite City, Illinois on Friday night. This last Friday night. Good race car driver walks up to me. He said, I watched your conversation with Jonathan Davenport. He said, I went ahead and went and got some glasses. Man, I can see a lot better now. Donnie, there are drivers out there that need glasses and don't damn know it. I mean,
there is, Kenny, and I wore glasses for a long time. It's not that your eyes are bad, but the shades of the colors of dirt and this and that. And I've worn them for a long time. And actually, as you spoke of Greg there, I just started wearing his optics. You know,
he told me.
And JD's the one that told me. JD told me last fall at Charlotte there. He's like, man, you got to get this guy does something with his lenses. It's like high def. It's like wearing high definition. And JD and I we both won Charlotte, so we were having a little fun in the hotel lobby. And
glasses win races.
Well, being able to see a little bit better than everyone else allows you to win races. And the one thing that you can never get back is your eyesight. So you want to make sure you stay on top of it. But yeah, Greg's done a great job. I just got my new progressives here. So when I work, I have to wear stuff to see close or distort. Right. So I got my new progressives where they go down into a little bit of bifocal, but I'm having a hard time getting used to them. But on the racetrack, I'm wearing the regular ones and they're pretty incredible. So if you have any questions about vision, you'd best be getting you some glasses.
Yeah. And this, I think the reason I bring it up is I've just seen so much going on now with Joey Logano, yourself, Jonathan Davenport, so many racers wearing glasses now and winning championships and races. So thank you for telling us your story there. You know, the fans always want to know the things that are private. But listen, that's it, my friend. We could go another hour. Donnie, thank you.
We'll do her again, much. Kenny. Let's do her again.
All right. Well, thank you so much, buddy. And remember, everybody, we are in podcast form. You can check us out on iTunes or Spotify.